Right, first of all, huge shout out to my sister who also wanted to check out The Last of Us Part 1, so thank you for paying half for this game so that I could actually afford it. There's no way I could have purchased this game on my own at $70, so thank you so much. But let's talk about The Last of Us Part 1, the remake for The Last of Us. I have put a few hours into it, and I just want to give my thoughts on it. In some ways, I feel like I can give a full review even though I haven't finished the remake, because I feel that even with only, 3 or 4 hours under my belt at this point, I understand exactly what this is going to be, and I'm kind of conflicted. And in this video, I want to discuss, whether or not I think it was worth what it is, and whether or not it's worth the $70 price tag. I know that many have stated that they don't feel that the price tag should be relevant in the review for the game, but I think that in some ways it's indicative of the product that they felt that they were giving, which clearly they feel this was worth a full price tag of a new AAA PS5 Series X era video game. This wasn't being marketed as a $40 DLC or an enhancement to the original game. This is being advertised as a from-the-ground-up recreation of the original game. And so how does it hold up? Well, it succeeds. Visually, this is one of the most stunning games I have ever seen. It looks as good, if not slightly better, than The Last of Us Part 2. I am very much invested in the story once again. I love it, and having these upgraded visuals really improves and enhances the storytelling even further than it was back in 2013. Now, clearly, it's the same story, there is no additional content, and that's where I'm conflicted. I feel that The Last of Us Part 1, while being very successful at what it is something of a missed opportunity to not expand the game either in the story or in the gameplay loop. And let me explain what I mean by both of those. Now, I don't know if there are deleted scenes from The Last of Us per se that were motion captured, or if that was all kind of cut down in the writing process. So, in other words, I don't know if there are scenes that were motion captured that, are just on the cutting room floor, or if when they were writing the script, if they were cutting it then and removing those sequences that they didn't want to have in the game. But either way, I think that either having the actors come back and do a little bit more motion capture, or taking some of those sequences that didn't exist in the original game that perhaps were recorded, I would have loved to have seen them added into the game. I do understand the notion of keeping it faithful to the original story, not changing it up too much, but I feel that you can do that even if it's an extended cut of the game. Give us another mission or two, extend the winter sequence or the fall sequence, or heck, even add the Left Behind DLC in as part of the story. I understand that that could have messed with the storytelling structure, but on the other hand, even if they didn't want to touch the story at all, I don't really understand why this game was a one-to-one recreation of the original game, in that it has all those great pieces and elements of that original game in there, and again, it's all recreated very faithfully, but it lacks the improvements of Part 2 other than some of the combat. The shooting doesn't feel clunky anymore. Again, it feels as refined as it did in Part 2, but I don't understand why the levels weren't touched up to accommodate verticality that was in that second game. And I feel that that was the biggest missed opportunity of this remake, is they didn't really take the time to improve anything other than the visuals. The levels are not improved. The gameplay mechanics really are not improved other than refining the ones that were already there. Of course, it's been noted that Joel cannot dodge or go prone. I didn't need to go prone, but it would have been nice to be able to dodge. And even if he could have gone prone, that would have been a really cool addition. And I feel that a lot of the combat arenas could have been expanded. They could have been made bigger. And again, if there were lines of dialogue that were cut from the game, why not put those back in? I think that they did a great job, again, in recreating this world, in recreating it, but it's a one-to-one recreation. And so it is the definitive way to play The Last of Us Part 1. I keep seeing people try to say, oh, there's no difference, or oh, the old one looks better. No, it doesn't. Don't even go there, The new game looks fantastic. It looks borderline photorealistic in some cases. Other times, not so much, but it still looks very good nonetheless. But again, one of the greatest looking experiences of all time. I think that to charge more for this game than The Last of Us Part 2 cost is a little bit egregious. Just because The Last of Us Part 2, I remember paying $60 for the pre-order. This game costs an additional $10, and it's like half the length. And so I do feel that it was a bit of a strange call. And again, I know that the developers worked very hard in recreating this wonderful game, and it is one of my favorite games of all time. It's in my top 3, right up there with Arkham City and Bioshock Infinite. So I'm very happy with the product. I thought that it was worth the half price that I paid for it, since someone chipped in with me. So I'm not at all upset with what I got. I think I would have felt a little ripped off if I'd paid the full $70 and seen that it wasn't anything more than just touched up graphics. And that's not really fair. It is recreated graphics. Like, it looks incredible. I just can't really believe that there wasn't any other improvements made. Now, I look at other games that I would love to get the same treatment. Like, I would love for that first Bioshock, or for Arkham Asylum, or again, they're doing it with Prince of Persia now. I'd love for a lot of these games that I love to get next generation upgrades. I'd love to play Arkham Asylum and have it look as good as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But it would be even cooler if, like, that cut side mission of the Mad Hatter's Maze was reintroduced, and if we could play through that now, like, that would be really great. It's not necessarily something that I need them to add back in. Like, I think that just that graphical upgrade is enough if you really like the game. You know, because games do age, the graphics have really gotten outdated very quickly in the last 10 years for pretty much any game. Even The Last of Us originally, like, it still looks really good for its time, but just the technology has advanced so drastically, so quickly. The resolution of textures and the processes of lighting and, like, everything that they've been able to do has improved so much in the last decade. And it seems like every decade we move forward so much in games, and I think that with backwards compatibility being somewhat hit or miss with newer consoles, it makes sense to upgrade games and bring them to the newer consoles through ports or remasters or remakes. I think that this is something kind of between a remaster and a full-on remake. It is remade, but it was remade to be exactly what that first original game was. It does feel, again, like the definitive version of that game, but it doesn't have anything new, which I think will please many fans who want it to stay completely faithful to that original game. I personally was just hoping for a little bit more. Perhaps if this could have been a little bit of an extended cut or a director's cut of the game, that would have been a little bit more preferred for me. But nonetheless, I've really enjoyed what I've played so far. I look forward to finishing this once again. It looks fantastic. That's why I'm feeling a bit conflicted about it. I don't feel like I can in good conscience recommend this at the full $70 price tag, but once it goes on sale, go for it. I think it is great. I think it's worth re-experiencing the story, and that's really where I'm at with this game. So anyways, thanks you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments below what you think about The Last of Us Part 1. Thanks again for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.